Hey, Suns fans, what's going on? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. How you doing? How you doing out there, Suns fans? My name is John Voigt, a managing editor of Bright Side of the Sun, one of the co-hosts of the Suns Jam Session podcast, and welcome to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. We're coming to you live after the final game of 2024. That's right, the Phoenix Suns have played their final game, and guess what? In typical Phoenix Suns fashion, they lost the game. Because why the fuck wouldn't they? Undermanned team, no issue. They're going to lose. They're going to find a way to lose. This team, calendar year, talking big picture here, calendar year 2024, if you include January 1st of last year to December 31st of this year, every game that counted, including the playoffs, this team ended 47-39. I believe it was their 30th best season or their 28th worst season in the history of the franchise. So a very mid-year if you're looking holistically at the Phoenix Suns. And, I mean, that's kind of the story of this team this year, the story of this team tonight as they played the Memphis Grizzlies, a team that they should have easily dispatched because of the amount of injuries on their side of the ball, right? Ja Morant is out. Brandon Clark is out. Zach Edey, who would give them an advantage because they are facing a team in the Suns who don't have Yusuf Nurkic, is out. And the Suns just find a way to fucking lose it. 117-112. You can see it right there on the screen. If you're listening, you know what it is. It's 117-112. So I'm going to be coming to you live on this New Year's Eve here. It's 9:50 in Arizona local time. Matthew's not here for this one. It's just going to be John solo and me talking to you guys in the chat, but I'm having a good time. I got some chocolate martinis I've been making. I've been pounding these things during that game. Throw a little fucking whipped cream on that bitch. You know, just do one of those. Fuck it, man. Like, this is how we're living here to end the year. You know, this is the third one I think I've had tonight. 4 ounces of Bailey's. 4 ounces of vanilla vodka. 1 packet of Swiss Miss hot chocolate. A little whipped cream on top, and 10 cubes of ice. Put that all together, bam! Even during a loss, you're going to try to have a good time. And that's what I'm going to try to do tonight. I'm going to try to have a good time. For those of you who read Bright Side of the Sun, it's been the dark side of the sun over these past couple weeks. And I don't know if it's the fact that I've been off of work and I've spent a lot of time writing and just sitting there looking at this team both on a ground level and a 30,000 foot view level. But from both levels, this team is mid. And it's frustrating as hell. And so Bright Side of the Sun has become Dark Side of the Sun from a journalistic standpoint. And there's some people out there who read the writing and, you know, comment on my constant pessimism as I talk about this team. And, you know, one thing I always like to say is I'm a realist. I kind of feel like that's where I always land. It's where I at least try to land. I try to see all sides of an issue and then utilize common sense as much as I can, understanding that I'm going to have personalized biases to certain things to make an observation. I don't just free will ideas and throw them out there for reaction. Although sometimes people say, well, you write things that are clickbaity. I'm not writing anything clickbaiting. I'm writing a fact about the Suns. If I'm saying that this team needs to blow it up potentially, which will be in an article that I come out with tomorrow, it's because I've thought long and hard about it. On how there's a great song by the band Led Zeppelin called Stairway to Heaven. And it says, yes, there are 2 roads you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. Well, that's where the Suns are at. They're hitting a crossroads as the year 2024 comes to an end. They're a 15-17 team. 15-17. I was banging money on the over of 50 wins. This was 47.5 wins was the predicted Vegas total for this team. I'm like, fuck that 50. Here's my money. Because there's no way that this team with this talent, with this continuity, with a new head coach who's going to lean into their offensive capabilities, are not going to win 50 fucking games. Are you shitting me? Yeah, here we are. 15-17. We just played the Memphis Grizzlies at home, and they were hurt. They were without their primary players. But what they had is something that the Suns just can't fucking get to. Their two best players played like their two best players. Jaren Jackson, 38 points. Desmond Bane, 31 points. Now, I'm no math wizard, but I think that when you combine those, that's 69 points. Giggity, giggity. All right. I'm going to have such a bad hangover. It's nothing but sugar and booze in this motherfucker. But yeah, we have Devin Booker coming back. We have Kevin Durant. We have Bradley Beal to start the game, and we'll get to that. We're instantly down 11-2 in this game, and it's an uphill battle. We give up 36 points in the first. We give up 33 points in the second. The Suns have now played, I think it's 128 quarters this season, and they've given up 30 or more points 52 times. Maybe it's 53 with that second quarter performance. And you can't understand the what, the why. You can't understand why this team can't just get the fuck out of its own way. To let a team like that, that's battered and bruised, come into your arena. Granted, they're 22-11. They've been injured this season, but they know how to win. And the Suns, like, it's eerie to me how similar this team reminds me of that 2017-2018 Suns, or the 2016-2017 or 2017 Suns, or the 2015-16 Suns. Remember all those teams, JAMsters? Remember those teams that would fight and claw and get so close, but just couldn't get over the hump of winning? I mean, that happened multiple times in the fourth quarter tonight. We held the Grizzlies at 95 points for 2 minutes, but we didn't score either. We couldn't chip into that lead. And all night long, that consistently happened to this team. Every time we get close, we get down to 2, get down to 4, get down to 3. We throw the ball away. We'd have a bad possession. The opposing team, the Grizzlies, would come out and appropriately, score. And we couldn't get over that hump. It reminded me so much of those teams. But the difference is that little $223 million payroll that this Suns team has. Back then, back in 16 and 17, 18, when we were learning how to win, when Devin Booker was learning how to win, there was always hope. It's that little thing that floats, right? And it's like a Sandra Bullock, Harry Connick Jr. rom-com. Hope floats. It's not floating here in Phoenix because there is no hope. The window's open, but it's slowly closing. And hell, it's rapidly closing at this point. Last season, the Suns were in a very similar predicament. Okay? They were 500 at this exact point, entering the new year. And the team had 50 games left, just as they do right now. There's still 50 games. We're 32 down, 50 to go. But the Suns had to go 32-18. That's 64% winning percentage to get to the 6th seed last year. And while the talent exists on this team, I just don't see it happening. This is a play-in team. And if we're lucky, we'll fight and claw and we'll get to the 8th seed. And we might have a couple moments of competition against the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they're going to roll us like a Philly blunt and smoke our asses. We know it. It's a dark time in Phoenix as we turn the calendar year over to 2025. And I'm happy to say goodbye to 2024. We lost Dave King. We lost Walter Davis. We lost Al McCoy. We lost Dick Van Arsdale. This was just a shit year for the Suns. The 30th best calendar year of all time. Yeah, a mid-fucking year. And we want to turn the leaf. Or as Bob Seger once sang, turn the page. Here I go on the road again, motherfuckers. Here I go. Turn the page. Look at that whipped cream. If you hate smacking, I'm sorry for that. But I want to have hope in 2025, and that's the other road. right? Yes, there are 2 roads you can go down, but there's still time to change the road you're on. The other one's blowing this thing into the fucking sun. Because we're slowly getting to that point with this team. We have a month until the trade deadline. It's February 6th. And it's funny because this past offseason, we're going over our previews, Matthew and I. We're looking at the team. We're looking at the assets. And we're going, okay, if they're playing bad by the All-Star break, it's a possibility that XYZ happens. Well, that becomes more real every day. Because Matt Ishbia is sitting there watching this and going, what the fuck am I paying this team for? To lose to the Grizzlies? To have Jaren Jackson Jr. go for 38 points on us? To have Devin Booker shoot 4 of 20? Sure, he might be rusty, but 4 of fucking 20? This is ridiculous. It's because we're a hired group of mercenaries right now. I always talk about the disease of what if. Because we live there as fans. We can't help it, right? Well, what if this happened? Or what if this happens? What if we didn't get rid of Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson? What if we didn't get Kevin Durant? Where would we be? We'll never know. But because we'll never know, we'll always talk about what we don't ever know to be true. But every day that passes, it feels like we made the wrong decision as an organization on Matt Ishbia's first day. Kevin Durant is one of the most amazing players I've ever seen in person. I have his jersey hanging up right over here. And I look at it all the time. I go, damn, man, it just looks good to see 3-5. But maybe it was the wrong decision because we are further away from winning a championship since Kevin Durant came here than when we were when he wasn't here. Now, there's a lot of blame to go around. Devin Booker's part of that. Devin Booker's weak, mentally weak. He's a chameleon. Takes on the personality of the best player around him. When Ricky Rubio was around him, he was very much of the never too high, never too low. Right, Sands fans? And then CP3 came here. He was a stone cold killer. Now Kevin Durant's here. And he just cares about ball and trying to be the best basketball player he can be. But he sacrifices leadership and edge. And that's what this team is missing, is edge. And they're also missing a key thing. And that's health. Entering tonight, the Suns are 13-2 when Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are healthy. And 2-13, I forget what the stat is. I tweeted it out earlier today. We'll look that up real quick. But they're not good when one of them is out. And there it lies the issue. That this team, when they don't have those guys, they're 13-3 when Booker and Durant are available, and they're 2-13 when one of them is out. They just can't get healthy. And of course, in typical fashion, hurt again tonight.
And she said, you're not the only one, but you're the best, Bradley. Boom, boom.
All right, Sands fans, I'm going to take you on a little journey here. This is the journey of health of the big three this year. So game 2, Bradley Beal gets hurt. Game 4, Bradley Beal returns. But also in game 4, Bradley Beal gets hurt. Game 6 of the season, Beal returns. Game 9, Durant gets hurt. Game 11, Beal returns and also gets hurt. Game 17, both Durant and Beal return. Game 18, Beal's hurt. Game 20, Beal returns, but then Durant gets hurt. Game 24, Durant returns, but then Beal gets hurt. Game 26, Beal returns, but then Booker's hurt. And then tonight, game 32, Booker returns, Beal's hurt. Beal, a left hip contusion injury, and this one went down, exited in the second quarter, did not come back. And, I mean, it's gotten to the point where, quite honestly, it's less tragic and more, it's just a sitcom. It's absurd. Who's next? Don't get me wrong. Injuries aren't their fault. But it's the timing, the consistency, and the sheer predictability of it all. It's Shakespearean in its cruelty, except nobody's laughing. Except maybe us. Because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And it's comical at this point. And I've talked about it on the podcast before. the identity of the Phoenix Suns. We talk about that. What is the identity of this team? Do they know who they are? Can they develop an identity? They have an identity. It's an injury-prone team that is way overpaid. And that's just what it is. They are an overpaid team that can't stay healthy. There's nothing they can do about it. It's outside of their control. But when you're injury-prone, you look at teams like the Boston Celtics. They have a lot of holes, but they're always healthy for the most part. Like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. But even in their cases, when one of them goes down, the other one steps up. And again, there's just no hope because the contract situation is dire. We have no assets that are desirable outside of like Grayson Allen. Nobody wants Nurk. We might want to upgrade a Nurk. We saw a need for Nurk tonight because Jaren Jackson Jr. did whatever the fuck he wanted in the paint. And for those of you who might hate on Nurk, you might also recognize that he would have at least made it a little bit harder probably in the paint or probably fouled out. So where are we? 2024 comes to an end. Chocolate martinis in hand. We're a mid team. This loss tonight just pissed me off. But I knew it was coming. Here's the number one thing that pisses me off. Number one thing that pisses me off. All right, you ready for this? Before the game, I took a look at the bets. I made one bet on this game. I bet big on it. That the Suns would lose the point differential in the third quarter. You know why? Because the Suns always lose the point differential in the third quarter. First quarter, Suns are outscored 36-26. Second quarter, Suns are outscored 33-29. Third quarter, the Suns outscore the Grizzlies 31-22. Like, fuck this team in so many ways. The things even that they do predictably, if you try to bet on it, even then you get wrong because that's when they fuck you. Like, they fuck you every way they can. And this is where, as 2025 comes, I want to be more positive about this team because I cover it so much, because I care so much, because I write about it, I podcast about it, and I invest so much time and effort into covering this team. And it frustrates the living shit out of me. So I want to be more positive about it. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think I can. I'm too, like, realism is going to continue to set in time and again. I can't come on this podcast after every game and just smile and go, it's going to be all right eventually, right, guy? I just can't get to that point where I take on a personality of someone I'm not. I can't be overly positive. I have to continue to, every time I try to be positive, that pesky little thing called reality yanks me back down to earth. So screw it. I'm just going to focus on eating better. It doesn't start by you smashing fucking chocolate martinis, but oh well. It be what it be. All right, let's talk about KD.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
Kevin Durant in this one, 29 points, 11 of 19 shooting, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc, 10 total rebounds. So 29 and 10. He also had 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 block shots, 3 turnovers, which seemed to come in succession in the third quarter. Right when, again, another one of those opportunities when the Suns were like right there, like we're so close to at least tying the game. And KD coughed it up on some pretty bad passes. But, I mean, KD was elite in this game. He really was. He did everything he could in his 38 minutes played because we have to overtax him against a shit team to have any chance of even competing. That's how bad the Suns are. They can't even compete unless they play almost 40 minutes of fucking Kevin Durant. But he looked great in this game. Minus, sans the turnovers, but he's not the only person who is guilty of turnovers. Tyus Jones had 5 in this. Holy shit. Jesus. This team is just ass. I'm sorry. This team is just fucking ass. Why do we do this to each other? Why do we do this, everybody? And y'all in this bitch talking about trading him. Yeah, because he's clearly our best player. So if we want to press a reset, you trade the best player. That's why we talk about doing it. We don't talk about trading KD because he's bad. We talk about trading him because he's good. It's funny. There was a comment the other day where somebody said, when KD had 8 turnovers, and they're like, "How dare you, Matthew, talk about his 8 turnovers? He was great last game." I'm like, "Oh yeah," because when Kevin Durant has a great game, we have to talk about how great he is, and when he has a bad game, we have to talk about his great games. He had a great game tonight. Kudos to him. Appreciate Kevin Durant. He's the best. There's no doubt. I've been saying this all year. Like, he is Batman. Booker is definitely Robin. There's no doubt of that this year. No question in my mind. Great game by him. And you know what? A very, very shitty game by Devin Booker.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Big Dick Booker.
My name is Average Dick Booker. Oh, shit. I just spilt. I got a backup chocolate martini over here. I spilt it all over the place. Yikes. Average Dick Booker tonight, man. And I get it. He's coming back off injury, but oh well. Like, who fucking cares? Like, you're out there, you're playing, you're healthy enough to do it. No excuses. 4 of 20 from the field. 4 of 20 from the field. Like, smoke a blunt if you got it. 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, because Devin Booker's not a good fucking 3-point shooter. 16 total points in this game. 9 assists. Kudos to him there. Only 3 turnovers for him, too. Like, him and KD coughed it up the same amount of time. So all you people who sit there and go, "You guys never call out Devin Booker when he has a shit game." Devin Booker had a shit game. A really bad game. Our Robin, because he's not the best player on the game, or on the team, had a bad game. But the KD stans don't care. And again, he's somebody who you might want to contemplate trading to. Like, if you are really about, if Matt Ishbia is really about just doing a full-on rebuild, Devin Booker is one of the best assets you have because of his age. And you can get a shit ton of picks for him. Now, I don't know if that's the answer. You have to have somebody you want to build around. But if you start dismantling this team, and Matthew's brought this up before, is letting go of Devin Booker something that you have to do because he doesn't want to be here as a part of rebuild? He's like, trade me to fucking Golden State. Golden State shit the assets at us, you know? I mean, it's definitely a possibility because, again, we're getting the window's closing. I always said it was a 2-year window with Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. And if it didn't work out by the end of year 2, there was going to be some changes. And, like, it's failing horribly. I know, 50 games to go. But, I mean, do you see this team going like 40-10 in the last 50 games? This team can't beat a fucking beat-up squad. They lose to fucking Brooklyn. Like, this team is ass. The way that they compete. And they compete. Like, I'll give it to them. They competed tonight. They played with give a shit. And they still weren't good enough to beat this team. That's the issue. It's not a cohesive unit. You can't just hire big names and expect it to work. I don't know what industry you work in. I assume you all work, unless you're a kid and you're watching this, and then shame on you. We cuss way too much and we talk about penises way too much on the show for any of you. But for those of you who work, which I assume is the majority of you, you always try to hire the best people. But when you're going through the interview process, and I don't know how many of you are part of that process, but I've been a part of that process for 15 years. And there's one thing I always think about when I'm going through that process. Sure, I want talent. I want talented people on my teams. But I also want cohesiveness. Somebody who I think will mesh well with other people. And with the Suns, it just hasn't worked. I know that health is an issue. And why we've seen the hustle and grit that we've desired so much during December finally come to fruition over the last 4 games, it's still not equating to wins. So what does that tell you? It tells you that this team is flawed. And it starts with your best 2 players. It starts with Kevin Durant, it starts with Devin Booker. It has to. Look at Memphis. Look at the culture that they have there. Their best players are out. JAMorant's not there. Brandon Clark's not there. But they still handle the Suns, and they're on the road, and they do it. And they laugh in our face. They laugh in our face. because they look at the fact that we have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, again, who gets injured, but we have all three of these guys. And we give up 36 points in the first quarter. Like, it's not like, I haven't read the post-game quotes, and I feel like I say this on every pod. I haven't read them, but I already know what they fucking said. Oh, they came out, they were ready, and we weren't ready. And I'm like, well, why the fuck are you not fucking ready? Got down, sat on a bench? I mean, seriously. Coach Budenholzer tonight. These are not easy times, but we'll find a way through it together. Okay, whatever you say, man. Yeah, you find a way through it, bud. And I'll continue just being here an idiot, writing about this team, podcasting about this team, going on opposing teams' subreddit to hear what they have to say about this team.
The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout.
That's right, JAMsters. I was in Memphis tonight, and I had a few chocolate martinis. To hear what they had to say about the Phoenix Suns. And here is what the Memphis fans had to say. White guys rocking the short sleeves is so classic. This team was so injured that they had to continually put out white guys in short sleeves. Nurkic slander is pretty hot so far, but kind of glad he's out. Seems to fry us a bit, not gonna lie. Scotty is Tyus's evil twin, which is funny because Tyus has a regular twin, which is not true. Trey Jones, his brother who plays for San Antonio, is not his twin, but I mean, they're Memphis. Booker's another example of an NBA player who is more worried about getting free throws than scoring. In Memphis, Tennessee, they can see an issue with this with Devin Booker. He tries to foul bait instead of just trying to score. You know what? If you try to score and they foul you, it's going to happen. When you're jumping into players, he's never been good at creating contact. We know that. Kevin Durant getting fitted for a blue jersey after the game. Bud always looks like he needs to take a dookie real bad. That might go in this season's subreddit Hall of Fame. That's funny. I hate Booker's game. And they ended it with Plumlee is a douche.
The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout.
All right. Yeah, there you go. That was what was going on there. That's what was going on there. All right, let's look at some of the comments here. We got a couple hours till New Year's. Dogs are sedated because fireworks sounds like Iraq outside my fucking window. It has for a week. Why do people buy fireworks and light them off? Like, it started on Christmas night. This is one thing I don't understand. Or Christmas Eve. Like, my neighbor, they're launching fucking mortars. Like, it's heavy artillery outside. It's Christmas Eve. Like, kids are trying to go to bed. They're waiting for Santa. Parents are trying to, like, finally get their kid. Finally, little Jimmy's fucking asleep. Then, fuck, now the kid's up again. Be considerate, people. Like, my dog, I have to sedate it. A big old German Shepherd. Scares shitless of it. When he moved to the country, you're going to eat me lots of peaches. Let's see. John Tran. No one is scared of the Suns, nor respects them. Amen. Let's see. Foxy Jane, 88. Anyone in Phoenix knows Book and KD care more about their table reservation than playing the game. Yeah, it's all about the nightlife versus the what happens on the court. D-Wig, 24. I do miss CP3. You, me, both. Even at a aged CP3, there was a mentality that he possessed that was so that took us to a finals, and we miss so badly here in Phoenix. Just frustrating. Teams that win are young and athletic. Yep. It's funny. I wrote the preview for Brightside, and I said three things. The one section we always have is keys to a Suns win, right? Like, what does Phoenix need to do to win this game? I go hit their threes, play defense on the interior, and play effort. And I go, Will they win? I go, no, because they always do 2 of the 3. And the third one, they do so badly that it costs them the game. That's what happened tonight. Like, play defense on the interior. Again, Jaren Jackson just fucking turnstiled us. Taking a look at some of the other statistics. Bench points was even. Second chance points, they outscored us 20-15. We lost by 5, and they outscored us by 5 there. Turnovers, we both had 17. I want to see the offensive rebounds. 16-10. Yeah, they crushed us on the interior. It was those extra possessions, man. I'm telling you. They took a total of 93 shots. We took 92. They took 33 free throws. We took 25. We were 9 of 30 from beyond the arc, 30%, because they do a great job guarding the perimeter, even with their fucking scrubs. Like, even with their scrubs, they play better defense than we did. Unfortunate. Ricky Sports Lover, Suns are first or second round exit. I completely agree. Suns Fever 83, JAMstar Kempton didn't hold back on the team. I love Tim Kempton because he doesn't, there is no filter with that guy. Like, he'll tell you how he sees it. If he sees something and he thinks it's dumb, he'll be like, that was fucking dumb. It's like, why would the ref do that? That's stupid. Christian S. One of the problems that I see is there doesn't seem to be any players who are leaders. 100%. 100%. That's been the challenge with this team for 2 years now. Like, again, this time last year when it was turning over from, December 31st into January 1st, 2024, we were still only 2.5 months into this experiment. And we're like, hey, there's a possibility that there's some leadership on this team. There's some grit and and now we're like a year later and it's the same fucking story, man. It's just, what's the definition of insanity? Do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? There you go. That's the Phoenix Suns fucking right there. Malik Wilson. Grizzlies are a real team. They always play even harder with Morant. They never use the injury excuse. 100%. Completely agree with that. There's no excuse whatever. Again, the Suns, and I've said this multiple times this year, and I'll continue to say it, they're a mentally weak team. Whenever the opposition is injured or is less talented, like the Suns see it as some sort of opportunity to take a night off when there should be no night. Like, I've never seen a team that, normally there's teams that see a weak, like Jordan. If he saw your weakness, he would have fucking attack until he killed you. The Suns are like the exact opposite of that. They're like, oh man, you see how many guys are injured on the team? Yeah, man. I mean, they're going to come out, they're going to play a little hard, but we'll be all right. And then they never all right. It's over and over again. Over and over again. And I write about it all the time on fucking Bright Side of the Sun. Ad nauseum. Might be. They ain't won shit. What have the Grizzlies won? I don't know, but they're the second team, and they're probably feeling pretty good tonight. And we're sitting around here drinking chocolate martinis, pissed off at our team because they're 15-17. So if they won anything, no, but neither of the fucking Suns. But they're in a lot better place than we are, aren't they? They have young assets, and they have draft capital. We have neither of those fucking things. Am I right? Does that sound about right? Like, they have a good team and a future. We have a mid team and no future. Which would you rather fucking have? One of the primary colors is blue. Blue's fucking beautiful. We got purple and orange. Only Clemson has purple and orange. No other team, none of any other major fucking sport has purple and orange, but we do. Go Suns. On that note, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you're having a good New Year. Hope you're being safe. Hope you're being safe out there. The New Year. You guys big on resolutions? I'm not really. Like, I don't need a date to tell me. It's like Valentine's Day. Like, I don't need a date for you to tell me, for me to tell you that I love you, but I'll still play along. Resolutions, I'm kind of the same. It's the same thing. What's this? All right, might be. We're just going to have one of those nights. No, they're not, because last year they didn't win. So guess the fuck that we don't... Because last year they didn't win, so guess the fuck what? We both are in the same situation. No, we're not. How can you say we're in the same situation as the Memphis Grizzlies? A 23-11 team versus a 15-17 team. A team that has draft capital. Some of that draft capital, which is ours, and we don't have draft capital. Young players. We're the oldest team in the NBA. If you're saying that everybody who didn't win the championship last year is in the same situation, That's fucking retarded. Straight up and down. They didn't win. Yeah, so did 29 other teams. So I guess we're all in the same boat. Let's all just hop on the Titanic together. Hey, iceberg, dead ahead. Hey, I hope there's a door. Hope it fits too. Happy New Year to you, Saul. Happy New Year to you, Michael. Foxy Jane 88. Everyone liked to talk when they up, been downhill ever since. Yeah, but they were the 2 seed 2 years ago. They got decimated by injuries last year, and they've come back culturally. They're in a better place than we are. And Malik is 100% right. Funny thing is, I look like the head coach, Taylor Jenkins, or the head coach of the Grizzlies. Everyone always says that. They're like, you look just like that guy. So, yeah, winning the chip is the point, and you have to put yourself in a position to win, to win the chip, right? You can't just win a chip just for fuck's sake. But again, 29 teams don't win the chip every year. It's like Giannis. So I guess every team's a failure every year except for one team. At least we could be trying to move the ball down the field, right? To get to that 5-yard line, have an opportunity to punch it in and score. And we're not there. We're punting. We continually punt. And they're shit punts. Over and over again. And if you don't win, you back to 0. Yeah, let's trade fucking Kevin Durant. I'm all for it now. Maya, you can go follow the next podcast where he's at. And you can hear about them talk about how great he is, but never win games. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking great. On that note, JAMsters, let's talk about the Jam Star of the game. I'll be interested to hear who you guys think is going to win it in this one.
Jam Star of the game.
All right, JAMsters, subscribe, rate, and review if you want to. If you don't, whatever. If you're watching on the good old Twitter, head over to our YouTube page, Suns Jam. Too easy. You find us right there. Help support the channel if you can. Support this crazy roller coaster ride that we're on. I want to give it to Kevin Durant, but I don't want to because Maya B is here. So I'm gonna give it to Monte Morris. I loved what I saw from Monte Morris. 5 of 8 from the field in this one in 20 minutes played. Obviously, with Bradley Beal going down, he had to step in, and he was effective. 12 points. He was a +5 while he was out there. A couple of assists. Smart with the ball. I liked what I saw from Monte Morris. He was one of the few bright spots on the night that just was an encapsulation of the 2024 calendar year for this Phoenix Suns, one that's been unbelievably disappointing, one where there's been promise, there's been opportunity, and there's been failure and more failure. And failure, a couple injuries, more failure. Good draft, more failure. So let's see what the JAMsters got. Mark N, no one for JAMster. Saul H. Soto gives it to Morris. I'm right there with you. Mark N says, Triple J for JAMstar. He humiliated us. That's goddamn right. Dunn for JAMstar from Greg Hughes. Ryan Dunn in this game, 3 of 7 from the field, had 8 points. Had a couple block shots, though. Looked great on defense, as he typically does. The fact that we have to lean into our rookies is another sign of how shitty we are. JAMstar from Michael Kolb. Dunn, Akogi. Katie, second place. Monte's a hard worker from Christian. Maya B, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to keep my foot on your neck about my fave. John, you know it. I know it, Maya. I love to talk shit with you. You know it's all love, though. And chocolate martinis, apparently. Oli Woe, Suns fan for life. Yeah. This is my blessing. This is my curse. I get to be a Suns fan. Isn't that fucking great? Kiko Morris for me as well. And again, as I try to pour this thing fucking right. And here we go. Chocolate martini time. Oh, it's dripping on me. Well, if I get pulled over tonight, I swear to God, the cops are just not going to understand it. Look at that. It's booze and sugar. Yeah, buddy. So I'll leave you guys with this. One, don't worry. Me and Matthew do pods again together. Just getting through the fucking holidays. Tag, you're it, I'm it. He spend time with the family. Once I'm done here, I'm going to go spend time with the family. But thank you guys for supporting us in 2024. Supporting Bright Side of the Sun, supporting the Suns Jam session, supporting Brightside Night, which is now 9 days away. Fuck, I got to get ready for that. And being a fan of the Suns, because it's obviously not easy. It's not even easy for any of us. And we want to be happy, right? We want to agree. We want to find this place where we can all come and talk about something that you can't talk to anybody else about. And that's what's been unique about doing the Suns Jam Session podcast for 5 years now, half a decade. Matthew and I have been doing this. And it's been eye-opening. And again, just a safe place for people to come and have discord. Even when I don't agree and I talk shit to you on the podcast. I love you, Maya B. I hope you know that. But a place to come and talk about this team because, today I was at the grocery store and somebody said something. I was wearing the same hat I'm wearing right now. It's a black Phoenix Suns hat. Brandon Bills, where that logo is, comfortable as hell. It's a bit, hey, I like your hat. I don't get that very often. They talk about NBA ratings being down. I feel it. I feel it in where I go and who I talk to. And a lot of people just don't give a shit about the Suns. But you guys give a shit. And I love you for that. And I appreciate you for that. And there's 461 people tuned in right now on New Year's Eve. An hour and a half to go until the ball drops. And you're sitting here watching my drunken ramblings about a team that's mid as shit, lost tonight. It's because you love this team. And you love the community. And if you're watching on YouTube and you're commenting back and forth with each other, there's familiar names that you see in there. And it's this little cult society that, if you're talking to anybody you work with and you're like, yeah, man, the big warthog, you know him? Nobody knows. Yeah, he says blow it up all the time. The anti-Bradley Beal guy. There's the pro Ayton guys who still like to show up. There's David Yolovich who gave $4.99 in the super chat. I truly appreciate it. He goes, thanks, John. Can't be easy. Happy New Year. Can't be easy for any of us, and I appreciate that. Keith Nettles, JAMsters, and the 12-step program. So we've built this little community amongst ourselves where we vent our frustrations. We share our joys as we once did in 2021 on that march to the finals. And we hope that feeling happens again. So when a win happens, we can come here and we can be happy. It just sucks because they're so few and far between right now. The Suns were 4-9 in December. 4-9. Fuck your injuries. Memphis was injured. They won tonight. So as I hear another firework go off, I say unto thee, Happy New Year to all my fellow JAMsters. Thank you for supporting the podcast, supporting the show. And cheers to 2025. Let's hope we win some more games, or at the very least start to get this thing right. So cheers to you, JAMsters. Do me a favor. Go home and love your family.